Hey cinephiles, the Oscars are upon us once again, and I have watched all 50 nominated films in order to give you my final predictions and picks.
I watched a lot of movies, Paul. I know what I'm doing.
I'm gonna go through all 23 categories, predicting what will win, designated with an Oscar statuette, and then proclaiming what should win, which I will mark with a tribute to the single best film of the year not nominated for a single Oscar, Hundreds of Beavers. Or in this case, a singular beaver.
Nice beaver.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
Let me help you with that.
Also, I'll be highlighting some historical nominations and fun factoids along the way that, who knows, might aid you in some random bar trivia night 6 years from now.
Marianne Cotillard exposes herself a number of times in that film.
Before we begin, I must briefly address the biggest story of this award season, the rise and fall of Emilia Perez, which at one point was the Best Picture frontrunner after leading the pack with a whopping 13 nominations, a record for a non-English language film. But the momentum for the already polarizing film imploded in late January, just a week after the nominations, when Emilia Perez star Carla Sofia Gascon's history of racist and Islamophobic tweets went viral in what has to be the biggest Oscar campaign snafu of all time. Not only did Gascon, who has made history as the first openly transgender nominated actress, obliterate her own chances of winning, she potentially torpedoed the film's chances across the board. There's an exception or two, which we will get to, but this blunder has further opened up an already unpredictable Oscars. If you ask me, all that drama and uncertainty has made this one of the most compelling award seasons in recent memory. I'll let Cardinal Lawrence have the final word on that matter.
If there was only certainty and no doubt, there would be no mystery.
All right, let's kick this baby off with actor in a supporting role. Yura Borisov, Honora, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain, Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce, The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice. This marks Edward Norton's fourth acting nomination, but the first for everyone else. As is often the case with supporting role categories, this has been locked for months, with Kieran Culkin winning every possible precursor known to man. You almost have to wonder if he'll have anything left to say when he takes the stage on Sunday night.
I am feeling a little...
As for who should win, it's not an easy choice because all five gave genuinely great performances, but I would have to give it to my guy, Guy Pearce.
I've said it before, but I find our conversations intellectually stimulating.
Costume design: A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, Wicked. This is the one and only nomination for Gladiator 2, kind of wild considering it's the sequel to a Best Picture winner. I'd say this one is going to Wicked, for which costume designer Paul Tazewell has already won the BAFTA and Critics' Choice Award. This marks Tazewell's second nomination after West Side Story in 2022. As much as I like Glinda's immense wardrobe, I would give this to Nosferatu's costume designer Linda Muir, who is nominated for the first time despite working on all four of Robert Eggers' feature films. Her attention to historical detail has long deserved recognition. Makeup and hairstyling: A Different Man, Emilia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, Wicked. While A Different Man and Nosferatu employ makeup to great effect, how can this possibly go to anything other than The Substance? Will win, should win. Original score: The Brutalist, Daniel Blumberg, Conclave, Volker Bertelmann, Emilia Perez, Clement Ducal and Camille, Wicked, John Powell and Stephen Schwartz, The Wild Robot, Chris Bowers. I can settle this one with just 4 notes. Even if Academy members couldn't sit through all 3.5 hours of The Brutalist, they would have at least experienced the now iconic opening sequence, which erupts with Daniel Blumberg's incredible score. Will win, should win. Live action short film: Alien, Anuja, I'm Not a Robot, The Last Ranger, The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. The short categories are notorious ballot busters, as it's hard to know what the voting body's whims and fancies might favor in a given year, but I'm betting on the incredibly timely Alien, which sees a young family's immigration interview thwarted by an ICE raid. As someone who generally loathes this category and the miserable, manipulative dreck that always seems to get nominated, I can't say I loved any of these, but at least The Last Ranger opened my eyes to the illegal rhino horn trade. Animated short film: Beautiful Men, In the Shadow of the Cypress, Magic Candies, Wander to Wonder, yuck. The inverse of the live-action short, this category remains a bastion of craft and creativity. Not a bad film in the bunch, though In the Shadow of the Cypress, a beautiful allegory of trauma, stands above the rest. Will win, should win. Adapted screenplay, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing. This is another sure bet, with Conclave winning everything it's been up for, and who am I to argue with the eventful mile-a-minute PG-rated papal thriller that it is? Original screenplay, Honora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, The Substance. This category is a toss-up between Honora and A Real Pain, which have split key indicators like the WGA and BAFTA respectively. And while conventional wisdom says it will go to Honora as Best Picture contenders are more likely to win here, A Real Pain sticks out better as a written work. My beaver goes to the intellectually stimulating screenplay of The Brutalist. Actress in a supporting role, Monica Barbaro, A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande, Wicked, Felicity Jones, The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini, Conclave, Zoe Saldana, Emilia Perez. This is Felicity Jones' second nomination after The Theory of Everything 10 years ago. Everyone else is nominated for the first time. And here lies the fallen frontrunner Emilia Perez's best chance at winning an Oscar, as Zoe Saldana has expertly sidestepped her co-star's controversy and continued to pick up every major precursor.
Yes, 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 yes.
Though I think Monica Barbaro should win for her incredible portrayal of Joan Baez, real singing and all. Speaking of singing, original song, El Mal from Emilia Perez, The Journey from the 6888, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Mi Camino from Emilia Perez, Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. Another year, another Diane Warren nomination for her song in the 6888, who now has 16 nominations without a win, a dubious record she continues to hold. Could this finally be Warren's year? Yes, actually. Her main competition is El Mal from Emilia Perez, but given the film's irreparable reputation, not to mention having two nominated songs that could cancel each other out, I think enough voters will finally give Warren her due. I didn't care for any of these songs, so I'm not sad they won't be performed during the telecast. If giving Warren an Oscar means we can finally stop nominating films I wouldn't have watched otherwise, I'm all for it. Documentary feature film, Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, Sugarcane. 4 of these 5 films premiered at last year's Sundance, proving just how invaluable that festival is for surfacing impactful documentaries. No Other Land, which chronicles the displacement of Palestinians in the West Bank, is among the most celebrated films of the year, but it's bound to be polarizing for the Academy, which should have an easier time rallying behind Porcelain War, which follows Ukrainian artists defending against the Russian invasion. While these are all strong films that I can recommend, my favorite was Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, a brilliant mix of stock footage and jazz records retelling a chapter of the Cold War. Documentary short film, Death by Numbers, I Am Ready Warden, Incident, Instruments of a Beating Heart, The Only Girl in the Orchestra. This is the least clear category on my ballot, as I could see this going any which way, but Incident is a compelling compilation of CCTV and body cam footage to highlight police brutality. Will win, should win. International feature film, I'm Still Here from Brazil, The Girl with the Needle from Denmark, Emilia Perez from France, The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany, Flow from Latvia. Flow is now the 3rd animated film to be nominated in this category after Waltz with Bashir and Flea, with Emilia Perez fumbling the ball that paves the way for the only other Best Picture nominee, I'm Still Here, to intercept. While I'm Still Here is a great film, Flow offered the most purely cinematic experience of the year and can add a beaver to its crew of animals surviving a flooded post-apocalypse. Animated feature film, Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, The Wild Robot. Memoir of a Snail is now the 2nd R-rated animated film to be nominated after Anomalisa. Also, this marks The Wild Robot director Chris Sanders' 4th nomination in this category, a record shared by both Pete Docter and Hayao Miyazaki. This is a strong category this year, but it ultimately comes down to Flow versus The Wild Robot, both of which are nominated outside this designated category. But I'm giving the edge to The Wild Robot, which has 3 nominations to Flow's 2. As a big Wallace and Gromit fan, I loved every minute of Vengeance Most Foul and the return of Feathers McGraw, but the artistry and ambition of Flow deserves this award. Production design, The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, Wicked. As with costume design, Wicked already has this one in Glenda's trunk, but I favor The Brutalist. Not only is it about architectural design, it's an incredible feat for a historical epic made for just $10 million. Film editing, Honora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Wicked. This is another tight race, this time between Honora and Conclave. It could be an early indicator of who takes Best Picture, but I think it's an indicator of the tighter, flashier film, Conclave. Will win, should win. Sound, A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wicked, The Wild Robot. For his work on Wicked, this is Andy Nelson's 25th nomination, which makes him among the most Oscar-nominated people alive, second only to John Williams. As for what will win, it's likely between A Complete Unknown and Dune Part 2, but since the latter has more precursors under its belt and won this very award for Part 1 in 2022, I think it's a safe bet and should win as well. Visual effects, Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Wicked. Using the same calculus as the sound category here, Dune Part 2 will win and should win. Cinematography, The Brutalist, Lol Crawley, Dune Part 2, Craig Fraser, Emilia Perez, Paul Gilheim, Maria, Ed Lockman, Nosferatu, Jaron Blaschke. This marks the only nomination for Maria, not that it matters because this should be a slam dunk for The Brutalist, which was famously shot entirely on VistaVision. That said, I'm giving the beaver teeth to the vampire teeth for Jaron Blaschke's stunning work throughout Nosferatu. Actor in a leading role, Adrian Brody, The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet, A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo, Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes, Conclave, Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. Everyone here has been nominated before, save for Sebastian Stan, who could have just as easily been nominated for A Different Man this year. All superb performances, ultimately coming down to a showdown between Brady and Chalamet, with the latter not making much headway until the SAG Awards, but Oscar voting had already closed by then. Because of that, Adrian Brody will win and should win his second Oscar, having won in 2003 for The Pianist. Actress in a leading role, Cynthia Erivo, Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon, Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison, Honora, Demi Moore, The Substance, Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here. As is often the case, this is the hottest race with Mikey Madison, Demi Moore, and Fernanda Torres all being serious contenders. But I still feel Moore won this back in January during her Golden Globe speech. Demi Moore, who I think gave the boldest and bravest performance of the year, will win and should win. Directing, Jacques Audiard, Emilia Perez, Sean Baker, Honora, Brady Corbet, The Brutalist, Coralie Farja, The Substance, James Mangold, A Complete Unknown. These are all first-time nominees, which doesn't happen very often. In fact, the last time that happened was 27 years ago in 1998. This is yet another face-off, this time between Sean Baker and Brady Corbet, who, interestingly enough, were paired together in this season of Variety's Director-on-Director Conversation series. At the 11th hour, the momentum is behind Baker, who has given several acceptance speeches in recent weeks and could very well be giving multiple on Oscar night. That said, as much as I love Honora and Sean Baker, the incredible undertaking of The Brutalist is second to none this year, except maybe Hundreds of Beavers. Best Picture, Honora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, Wicked. This is the first time two musicals have been nominated for Best Picture since 1969, with Oliver and Funny Girl. Tallying the major precursors, it all comes down to Honora and Conclave. Honora won the top prize at the Critics' Choice Awards, Producers Guild Awards, and Independent Spirit Awards, while Conclave won at both BAFTA and SAG. While it could go either way, my picks here are the same as directing. Honora will win, The Brutalist should win. And there you have it, my predictions and picks for all 23 categories. Let's see what surprises and snubs the Oscars have in store, after which I'll return with a full breakdown. In the meantime, I invite you to share your own predictions and picks in the comments below. I'll see you down there.
I found our conversation persuasive and intellectually stimulating.